Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dubes. That's the name I came up with. It's my gamer tag, I guess. It's easy enough. And I'm starting a franchise mode here on NHL 23. Um, I'm I think the current state of franchise mode on YouTube leaves a little bit something to be desired, I would say. Um, Obviously, Johnny at 2BC Productions has come back, and that's great, but he does his streams. And Tugi does his streams as well now. And I don't even think he's done a real series yet this year. Um, Other guys to check out, I think Data does a great series. I really like how much he uses his comment section and his Discord as quote unquote assistant GMs. And there's a lot of great ones out there. Obviously, Snipe and Score, I know he puts a lot of work into historical rosters and stuff. Um, but I just thought I wanted to get in the game. I felt like there were a lot of really good things that a lot of people were doing, and I want to take those and give it my best shot. Um, the team I was looking at doing was the Philadelphia Flyers. They just seem not very well managed, I would say. Obviously, I'm no expert. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but you had the Oscar Lindblom situation where he's kind of this cult hero. It's obviously great what he overcame, and then I think they bought him out. If I remember correctly, you might have seen the team it went to right away. I'll let my bias show now. I am a Ranger fan, so it'll be funny taking over a rival. But even in my lifetime, I haven't seen much of the Flyers. I don't know what it is in my total lifetime, but I think it's in the past decade they've won one playoff series, and they certainly don't look to be projecting in the right direction now. That being said, there's some good young talent on this team. Carter Hart started off this season super hot. He's kind of tailed off now. You got Cutter Gauthier, who they drafted this year. He's obviously I've added him in the game. I've done a fair amount of roster editing. I forget which roster I based myself off of, and created players and stuff, but I did a bunch of edits myself. I'll find the roster I used, and I'll be certain to give them credit in the description. But yeah, they're in a weird spot. They got a lot of really bad contracts. They got some good prospects, but they don't really have that kind of superstar that you need in today's day and age. Their best prospect is probably Cutter Gauthier, and he projects as kind of maybe a top of the lineup guy, but not really a franchise cornerstone, I would say. Settings wise, owner mode's going to be off, just not worth it. I am not one of those guys that really likes to stack their coaches and stack their scouts. So the only thing owner mode would really add would be budgets. I still like to have a decent coaching staff. I just like to have people in their roles. Fantasy draft obviously off, salary cap on, GM firing. I wish you could honestly have it on with owner mode off, but you can't. I'm going to take care of the lines. I'm going to turn off Fog of War. If you guys are clamoring for it, then maybe I'll try. I haven't played with it for a while. Player morale I like to keep on. I am going to turn morale meetings off because the menu's honestly A, just too slow, and B, it's usually stuff I'm not worried about. I think there's some stuff in this mode that kind of can help you create a storyline, but I myself like to just have the storyline myself. And computer trades we're going to have on for now. Obviously, if it was close to the trade deadline, I might turn them off until then, but we're going to keep them on for now. All this stuff we're going to turn off, and let's continue. Furthermore, with the settings, I'm gonna have injuries off for the regular season. I'm gonna kind of do, if you remember what Johnny 2BC Productions did in his old series. Injuries are off during the regular season, and then I'm gonna turn them on in the playoffs. I like setting my lineup. It's just a little too tedious to keep on managing that throughout the season. Just set that to 20 minutes. We're not gonna be playing any games. That all looks fine. I've adjusted the cap, so I know the Flyers have. I'm pretty sure every single team should be good to go. That all looks good. Trade difficulty hard. Waivers on. Da 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 da. Auto scouting I'm just gonna have on. Auto staff management off. Go to advanced settings. Not a lot to change here. We're gonna go fully healed. It'll be interesting to see what we'll do in the playoffs, but we'll see from here. I'm gonna keep auto rotate goalies off. I like doing that myself. Sim engine scoring. The settings I usually go for are shot frequency on high and sim engine scoring on medium, and then I'm gonna dip these to low so we can only go through or hopefully only go through the creative players. But yeah, this is what I found the best luck with. I think a case can be made probably for turning other stuff up, but this is what the best goalie stats I get personally. If you guys have any thoughts, certainly let me know. Head coach firing, we can keep that on. Trade offer notifications, I am gonna turn off. A lot of those are just spam and annoying. Waiver notifications on. Round meeting's gonna be off. Retired jerseys on. Blockbuster trades on. That all looks great. So Philadelphia Flyers, our AHL affiliate is Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and we're just gonna get straight into it. We are here at the main menu, getting ready to get started. I always like to go over the contracts first and just take a look at this whole roster. Starting off with our forward, Sean Couturier. He is the captain, I'm pretty sure. Great two-way forward. Doesn't fit our coach super well, but what he is, he's the core of this team for now. Konechny having a great year offensively. Defensively, he's leaving something to be desired, but he's been a great offensive force this year. I don't know how great he'll be in simulation. 88 offensive awareness isn't bad, and defensive stats are probably a little better than they should be, but he is who he is now. Cam Atkinson, who they traded for Jacob Voracek. I forget how long ago that was. No X factors, but hopefully we can get him going. 5.875 for 3 more years is honestly not the worst thing in the world. Joel Farabee looks to be a cornerstone of this team for a while. Another two-way forward, really. Um, let's see. A lot of our top guys don't seem to be completely gelling with this coach. I guess Atkinson and Konechny aren't too bad. Kevin Hayes, rough contract. He's their Flyers' leading scorer this year. He hasn't really gelled well with John Tortorella. Oof, terrible defensive stats. Good shooting and good physical. I guess he's a power forward. But yeah, he's going to be the center behind Sean Couturier because we don't have a lot else. JVR, he's got 1 more year at $7 million. He could be a deadline rental, depending on how we do during the season. Ideally, I'd like this to go in a realistic manner where the Flyers are near the bottom of the league, but you never know. With simulation, anything can happen. Scott Lawton, maybe a little overpaid for what he is, but he's a good depth piece. Not depth even. He's a good third line center for now. $3 million for 4 years. It is what it is. And Owen Tippett. Oh my gosh, this guy's shot was so good in junior, and I don't even know if I've seen him play since. I can't remember watching any Rangers Flyers game this year, but yeah, he's definitely someone we could look at growing. Again, no X factors, which in the game is kind of just a necessary thing. It kind of rules out some players, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, and maybe we'll even look at tweaking X factors. But hopefully we can get him going. Noah Cates, Nick Delorier. Nick Delorier is also a good piece, good defensive stats, a great fourth liner. Really, almost exactly what you'd want in today's day and age. Morgan Frost, he put up crazy stats at Sioux. They're not going to have his stats. But yeah, he put up crazy stats with the Greyhounds in the OHL. But he hasn't really found his stride yet. Hopefully he can find it with us. Zach McEwen, another young fourth liner. Looks good. Zach McEwen, or I just said that. Patrick Brown, right? Yeah, Patrick Brown. Yeah, in the system, we got Wade Allison, another fourth liner. Kiefer Bellows, Adam Brooks, Cooper Marody. Loved watching him at Michigan. Bobby Bragg, and Cutter Gauthier, who was 5th overall pick. Power forward, another guy kind of like maybe a little Kevin Hayes-ish. I'm pretty sure what I've heard is skating is a little better, though. But yeah, he's unsigned right now. He's obviously in the college ranks, unless he's with Kamloops. But he's going to be hopefully on this team for a while, hopefully put up some good stats. Jay O'Brien, he is at, I want to say, Boston University, maybe? He also, from first round pick, he got drafted out of, I think it was Thayer Academy in Massachusetts. Hasn't looked super so far, isn't really living up to the pick, but hopefully he can turn into something. I think he's a two-way forward, maybe will be a bottom six guy for I bottom six guy for us. Isaac Ratcliffe, Max Williman, Tyson Forster's another guy we want to get him going. Medium top six potential, and otherwise not a whole lot. The cupboards are a little empty. So yeah, as I said, kind of just missing that top guy. That's defenseman. Sean Couturier is definitely the top offensive piece on this team. Aside from Kevin Hayes, though, I think they've got a lot of flack for their contract situation, and it's not looking like the worst thing in the world forward-wise. Defensive-wise, Travis Sanheim, Ivan Provorov is Ivan Provorov. Won't touch on that. Um, I think these guys have both been in some trade rumors. We'll see what we'll do with them. Defensive defenseman, not going to light up the world. Provorov, though, has some better offensive stats. Tony DeAngelo, I could say as a Rangers fan, not a huge fan, but he should put up some crazy numbers, I think. Justin Braun, Rasmus Ristolainen, definitely not ideal. He's not very good defensively, not very good offensively. Um, I think there's a compilation on YouTube, not to harp on anyone in particular, but I think there's a compilation on YouTube of Rasmus Ristolainen playing, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, 5.1 for 3, 4, 5, 5 more years. It's no good. Cam York, another Michigan guy. Hopefully we can turn him into something. Otherwise, Connaughton, Sealer, Ellis. I have in the AHL right now, so he's who I needed to change for the Flyers to become cap compliant. He obviously is making 6.25 right now, but I think if I've heard correctly, he's on IR for the rest of the year. He might not even ever play again. But yeah, what we got here, I gave him a league minimum contract. We're gonna scratch. I think we're probably gonna scratch him in the NHL this year, and then hopefully he can come back. Obviously, dealing with injury, hopefully he makes a speedy return because he is a very good defenseman, very good at Nashville, and he just really hasn't gotten his chance in Philadelphia yet. I don't wonder if it'll show. Yeah, he's played 4 games in Philadelphia, and even he put up 5 points. So not too shabby for him. Wow, he's been a minus once in his career. That's crazy. I actually had no idea about that. So yeah, hopefully he comes back in the real world, and obviously he will come back in a year for us. Ronnie Attard, Igor Zamula, Adam Ginning, youngish pieces, Emil Andre. He's a second round pick. Again, just not a whole lot of that really high end talent that we're looking for in making a really solid Stanley Cup contending team. In goal, Carter Hart. Goalies are goalies in this game. That being said, look at Thapshir Demko. I mean, 2 years ago, people were saying he was one of the best goalies in the league, one of the best maybe American goalies in the league, and he just is not performed to expectation this year. So anything could really happen. So we will see with Carter Hart. They got Ivan Fedotov in the system. Huge, 6'7". I had no idea about that. Yeah, is there an Alexei Kolosov? Yeah, Alexei Kolosov. So there's some options there. Obviously, Carter Hart's probably going to be the guy for a little while, RFA at the end of that contract. Um, but yeah, looks pretty good. Um, Obviously, there's some rough contracts here. Can't really do much about them in the real world. Obviously, no one is foaming at the mouth for 5.1 million for 4 years. Rasmus Ristolainen. So I'm not gonna cheese the system and let anyone take him on unless we have a realistic option. So that's the team. I'm gonna go over the lines real quick. I will show you guys once I'm done. It's just gonna be a lot of tedious working and stuff and getting a chemistry right. So I will be back with you guys once I finish that. Alright, not a whole lot changed, but here's what I got. We're going to rock Farabee, Couturier, Konechny on the first line. I'm interested to see how that goes. Two-way forward, two-way forward, two-way forward. but we will see. It's the only way we get +3 on the first line. Second line, JVR, Hayes, Atkinson. Hoping Hayes can act as a playmaker like he does in real life, but we will see what happens with that. Third line, I got Morgan Frost on the wing, Lawton and Tippett. I would ideally, just for sake of position, like to have Lawton on the left and Frost at center, but Frost has 69 faceoffs versus Lawton has a faceoff X factor and 80 faceoffs to go along with it. So I'm going to roll with Lawton. It kind of makes sense that Frost maybe comes in the league, young guy. He's not the biggest ever at 6 foot, and is obviously not very reliable defensively with 2.5 stars. Defense, so we're going to stick him on the wing. Hopefully, he can use some of that speed and skill to work well from there and work well with Owen Tippett. Fourth line, McEwen, Deslauriers, got Deslauriers. I've got Kiefer Bellows in the middle. Just a gritty, big physical fourth line. Hopefully, even if though our coach only rolls 3 lines, hopefully they can be a difference maker in the game. Or not, as I said, I want to keep this realistic. Don't want them to lose. Defensively, Provorov and D'Angelo, they get a +2. Sanheim and Braun get a +5. That's awesome. Hopefully we can... Braun, we're probably going to look at offloading as a rental. He's a good complimentary piece. Couldn't get anything for York, but he's going to be with Risto, and hopefully we could see some development from him. In goal, I got Carter Hart, and then I have Ivan Fedotov. He's the second highest rated goalie, even though I don't believe he's playing in the NHL this year. I know there was some issue with him coming over with military service or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully everything checks out. Power play wise, didn't do anything crazy. If it's our first line with D'Angelo and Van Riemsdyk, they get a +5. Our second power play, we'll see how it does. I'm debating putting York here since he is an offensive defenseman, but right now we're going to rock with this. Penalty kill wise, should be great. I mean, Sanheim and Braun on the first unit with Couturier and Lawton are 2 best defensive forwards. Get Hayes and Deslauriers. D'Angelo, yeah, that's probably a liability, but it gets a +2. And then York and Risto with Bellows and Atkinson. Bellows has a 3-star defensive category, and I needed another center. Atkinson has a 4-star, so even though he's a sniper, hopefully he plays well. Not going to worry about 4-on-4 and stuff like that. AHL wise, let's take a look at that. How did I pass over Bobby Brink? Totally forgot about him. Totally forgot about Bobby Brink. He's with Adam Brooks. I'm gonna bump. No, I want to get a +2, but I don't think I want David Kasha up there. You got +2 with anyone else? Is there anyone in? Oh, nope, it's doing that. Elliot Desnoyers. I think I'm pronouncing that right. No. I'm going to just roll with Ratcliffe and give them the +1. Just to be Ratcliffe is power forward, 2-way forward sniper. Hopefully they can feed Bobby Brink, and he can feast. Love to get some good growth out of him. Charlie Gerard, Cooper Marody, and David Kasha. That's all right. I don't think there's really any... Yeah, there's no real other prospects that we really want to get in here. Yeah, I'll throw him in here in medium top 9. I really wish there was a... Oh my god, Tyson Forrester. How could I forget? I really wish there was like an ECHL option. Oh, that gets a +2. Is he a playmaker? 2-way forward. We'll still roll with it. I think we do that. No. Okay, Adam Brooks will be 3rd-line center. I really wish there was like an option like loan to ECHL or something like that. That would be really helpful. I don't need a whole AHL thing where I can control the lines and stuff. Just want to loan the guys. It's like when you get that 49 overall medium elite and then he doesn't grow at all, and then you have to sign him, and you don't want to play him in the AHL. But oh well. Who else do we have in there? I saw Tuamala, I think, or Tanner Lazinski. No, he doesn't have good potential. Zade Wisdom. High bottom 6, 2-way forward. Yeah, sure. Who else? We had Jody Bellerive. Cal O'Reilly. Yeah, I do not know how I know all these names. Yeah, we'll throw Zade Wisdom in there. -1. And then left wings wise, we got Desnoyer in there. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Don't want to plus one. Sure. Sumali get third line time. Defensively, Addard, Kevin Connaughton. Mm, Wyatt Wiley, I probably want to. He's 22. We'll still get him in there. And for Sealer, Emil Andre, we're gonna want in there. Adam Ginning, Igor Zamula. I don't think we're gonna wanna. And Mason Millman, Will McKinnon. I think we're gonna keep that as that, and Mason Millman's gonna have to take a seat. Felix Sandstrom and Troy Grosnick. Samuel Ersan is only 22. But sure, we'll get Samuel Ersan in there. He'll be the backup. With auto rotate goalies off, it is a little annoying to deal with the AHL and NHL at the same time. So I will do my best to keep up with it. But otherwise, that's what we're gonna roll into the season with. Don't want to make any super changes at first. You like to see how everyone simulates and stuff. So, well, let's look at our coaching staff, and I will go over scouts and stuff. We have a good coach, A minus. Doesn't have the greatest teaching, but we'll see. 6 years. Wow, this entire coaching staff is 6 years. That seems like a lot. Yes, no one with really good teaching. Surprise, it's the Flyers. And then AHL, it's not bad. I will take care of scouting myself, but otherwise, I think we're good to go. I'll just go over what I'm going to do with scouting. Again, as I said, I don't want to have a crazy scouting staff, and I know how good every single player is in the draft. And I'm not completely sure what I'm going to do with the draft yet, but usually what I do is I'll make sure I just have like C's everywhere, and that way I still get a bit of a challenge, but it's not like I don't know anyone, because teams will usually go in. And then the other thing you got to think about too is I can draft all medium elites in the 7th round, or in all 7 rounds, and it's like, oh wow, you had a crazy draft, like it's too easy. But they could also not grow at all. So that's why I think there's a good in between to have, because you want to make it fun, you want to get good players, but you don't want to totally ruin the system. So I will be right back when I have that finished. All right, I got everything with scouting squared away. We are gonna get started. It is opening night against the Devils. We're opening at home. I like going through this menu. This way I can change the goalies really fast, etc., etc. But yeah, let's just get started. Um, Opening with a loss. I like that. It's weird. This first season, I'm definitely going to be cheering for us to not be very good, but that is sure to change. Look at a quick view at the draft class, just so. Yeah, and of course there's a creative player. That's fine. I'm thinking what I'm going to do with creative players and stuff is I'm going to kind of try and limit drafting them in the first part of maybe the first year or two. Um, I'm gonna go maybe like 5th round picks. We're gonna like maybe for the first draft we'll do like the top 3 rounds. You can't take a computer generated player, and then maybe in I don't know, maybe in the next year we'll do top two, and then from there we will see how it goes. Ivan Fedotov has our only 2 wins, so just coaching wise, I'm gonna leave him in. And there we go. There's a loss, and I'm not gonna feed him to the Wolves against the Hurricanes. Uh, but yeah, I do usually. So obviously, I've played franchise mode plenty of time on my own. Usually try to throw some challenges into there, but I think the first challenge for me is going to actually be talking into a microphone while I'm playing. So I think we're just going to kind of do a standard run here. I'm not trying to, change the world with this. It's just Going to be a standard franchise mode series. I have stuff I like to do. Otherwise, one of the things I mean, it's different now. I really wish that they would have done something with the expansion draft, as it's kind of weird having 33 teams in the league. It's just not something I typically do. Um, but what I would used to do is the 32nd team I would make would be a team from just a random location, like not a high. I think New Mexico is what I chose the most frequently. And what it would basically be is like I could only use 80% of the cap. I could only like I would spin a wheel, and one of my players in my draft class would refuse to sign with me. So stuff like that, uh, which I always thought was fun. Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, this is just going to be a standard series, I think. Um, I'm interested to see what people think, to have a little maybe community to go along with the playing the game. Because I think sometimes in my own personal, I just went through an Ottawa franchise mode, which Ottawa is, at least game wise, is set up pretty nicely right now. Loads of prospects, and you can get a pretty stacked team pretty quick. And I think it was the first 4 years I made the playoffs, and I lost to the Cup champion every single time. And then I had my best team I had in my 5th year, and we don't even make the playoffs. And so I'm kind of just interested. This will encourage me to take it more slowly, and really try and build a cup contending team. The last time I've won a cup, I was doing a. I've tried to at least run 3 really main franchise modes in this. My Columbus one went for about 8 years. Did not win a cup. Then I did a Vancouver one, and we were doing fairly well. I was like, okay, maybe I'll add at the deadline. I ended up adding I think like Max Domi was my third line center or something, and we won the cup. And I was like, well, I already won the cup. Blah, 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 blah. As Carter Hart has really turned it on. We'll take a look at the stats here. Yeah, at the end of the month we'll do that. But yeah, I won the cup, and I was kind of just like meh after, and then I did an Ottawa one, and that I obviously just spoke on. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping I'll take this one nice and slow, and we can have a good time with this. As we are above 500, we're not in a playoff spot, but we are pretty close to it. 17, 14, and 6. Maybe just about what I would expect from Tortorella, Tortorella coach team. So you could probably hear my chair there. First line's been great. Joel Farabee, 27 points and plus 11. 29 points for Couturier. Konechny with 35. Gonna have to do some quick math here. He's definitely been star of the show. I really hope JVR would do a little better, but that's not bad. Hayes is doing pretty well. And Atkinson with 10 goals isn't bad at all. Frost has been rough. Lawton has been rough, and third line has really been rough. And then the fourth line's doing pretty well. Can't complain. Defensively, Provorov and D'Angelo with 28 points. Sanheim and Braun has been a good pair. And then Cam York. Sorry to put you with Risto, buddy. Carter Hart was ripping off some wins there. I think that's pretty good games played, as I forgotten to change Sandstrom and Ursan. In the NHL, let's see how Bobby Brink is doing. Not bad, but he's up, I think, 2 overall, if I remember correctly. So we'll take it. But yeah, honestly, not a whole lot I would change here. I don't have a following right now, so I think I'm just going to kind of charge through. We can take a look at the standings real quick. Capitals, Devils, Penguins. Not bad realism-wise, but obviously, as we've seen, anything can happen. Chicago was, I think, leading their division at some point this year, so anything could happen. Panthers, Bruins, Maple Leafs. Before the season, honestly, if you said these were the standings, I think a lot of people would believe you. Obviously, the Panthers have fallen off without a defense. But yeah, I don't think people would be too mad about that. Maybe the Bruins would be a little high, but obviously they've been great this year. That division is really tight, though. Wow. Um, Blues start. Yeah, it's honestly all not looking too bad. The only like the Ducks are not this good in real life. That's honestly the only thing I'd say. And the Hurricanes being so low. But yeah, let's march on forward. Usually there's some crazy stuff going on, but it's not been awful so far. Um, it's nice to keep a semblance of realism. Um, that being said, I think there's a lot made about how crazy the simulation can be, and I think you kind of just got to roll with it because, as we've seen, Panthers won the President's Trophy. They trade for Matthew Tkachuk, arguably have won that trade so far. Obviously, things can change. But yeah, Fedotov with a shutout. Okay. Um, yeah, arguably they've won the trade so far. I think advanced analytically, Kachuk has been better than the combination of Uyghur and Huberdeau. Obviously, Huberdeau getting off to his slow start, but yeah, I mean anything could really happen. So I think you kind of just gotta roll with the punches. And like I said about Thatcher Demko, he was regarded as at least a top 10 goalie. I maybe won't say top 5, but he was definitely argued to be a top 10 goalie. And he has been horrible. Obviously, you hope for the best for him. I don't mean to put the guy down, but he has not been great. Canucks obviously haven't been great at all. That's the only reason I was really between kind of the Canucks and the Flyers as teams to do, but obviously Tactics HD is doing a Canucks series right now. I haven't seen anyone do a Flyers series on NHL 23, but the Vancouver they have Miller, they have Pedersen, Hughes, and I mean it's hard to like really downgrade Demko, just as it's really hard after kind of the season's Hart has had to make him great. And I just find that the team simulates a little too well, too frequently, and I want to rebuild a team. That's where the fun is kind of building your own team, not really just like adding your additions to an already established team. Um, so that's the goal with that. As we're nearing the end of February, I forget when the trade deadline is. Oh, there it is. um, so yeah, and another shutout. Wow, our defense has been pretty good, I'm gonna say. Let's take a look at our stats real quick. Um, that first line still great. Farabee with 43 points. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any growth yet. 45 for Couturier, 50 for Konechny. Awesome. Second line, pretty good. That's pretty good. Can't really ask for much. This line is definitely playing better. Definitely playing better. Tippett's closing in on 20 goals. He might even hit 25 by the end of the year. And then the fourth line has regressed slightly. Provorov and D'Angelo have turned it on. Obviously, you saw D'Angelo take over the scoring race. He's got 51 points now, or 52 points now. Sanheim and Braun have fallen off. And York and Ristolainen aren't doing bad, although Risto being even is not bad. And that's 5 combined team shutouts. Carter Hart putting up a 9-11. I'll take it. I will definitely take it. Ryan Ellis's morale is obviously falling down the face of the earth. I don't know how he is losing morale because of a recent individual performance. He's not playing. But oh well, that'll obviously come back. Otherwise, prospects, Brink doing well. Forrester, I want to look at. they're pluses now. Which obviously in the real world is not a great indication of a player's strength. Obviously, there's like the extreme. If you're a plus 40, you're probably doing something right, and if you're a minus 40, you're probably doing something wrong. But it's really all we have to go off of in this game. Standings wise, Capitals not leading the league, but just about. Maple Leafs go off in simulation as they always do. Um, Canadians and Red Wings towards the bottom. Blue Jackets and Islanders towards the bottom. Um, yeah, it's interesting to see the Hurricanes so low, but they've actually turned the corner. They're above NHL 500. Um, is it Coyotes and Blackhawks, the race for last? No, the Kraken are down there too, as I accidentally click on it. I don't really want to just yet. Um, but yeah, the Coyotes and Blackhawks, along with the Kraken, are racing for Bedard. Three franchises that, I mean, you can argue the Kraken don't need it. They have that 1-2 punch in the future, Beniers and Wright. But the Coyotes and Blackhawks certainly do. Sharks are close to a playoff spot. Ducks are close to a playoff spot. Canucks are kind of out of it, but not super out of it. Um, yeah, an interesting look. Um, let's see how far we are. 3 points out of a playoff spot. That being said, I'm thinking we're gonna want to sell. In the future, I'd love to wait and see what people have to say, but obviously, I'm gonna post this video and not expecting much of a response. So I'm just gonna go off of and kind of playing this first season as I would. Probably record the next episode just right after this. But yeah, I'm gonna take a look at the trading block, and we can look at some stuff. I'll take you guys. You guys can come. Anaheim is kind of selling, kind of not. Or nothing there, nothing there. Prospects in Calgary. Uh, Coronado is interesting. Um, but yeah, we don't have huge um, pieces to really sell off, so it's not like we can really get anything in particular. Broberg would be interesting, although we do. I guess he could play the right side. Um, and Bourgault is interesting. We're in a tough spot because you want to play guys that are younger when you like this. Oh, Daniil Yurov. You want to play the younger guys, but also you don't want to completely tank the trade value of any other guys like Aristolainen. Kamel always on the trading block, yet Nashville is 500. I don't think they'd want to trade a guy who is definitely going to factor into their lineup next year. That's just me. Um, Nothing else real. As the series goes on, we'll adhere more towards the trading block. Nikolai Nijov. That is certainly interesting. We'll adhere towards the trade block, but right now, obviously, we have the benefit of being able to see where teams are. Toronto's offloading prospects: Tucker Poolman, Brendan Brisson, Lars Eller, Oshie, and more prospects from Winnipeg. So nothing crazy. We can take a look at the draft class real quick. Probably going to be if we sell and don't perform better, like you sometimes do, we will probably be like somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. You got Bedard, Fantilli, Michkov, Dmitry Shishkinov, which is a creative player. He'd actually be really nice to get. Right defenseman, we could certainly use one of those. Leo Carlson, Jaeger, Dvorsky, Benson, Smith, Reinbacher. Yeah, so we're probably going to end up looking at one of these guys, which could be a little unfortunate. I mean, as I said, we want high-end guys. Reinbacher could be definitely an interesting one. I don't know what the deal is with gold X factors with these guys. I don't think all of them have them. Sturback, he is not created. Yeah. So we don't have a huge look on everyone so far, um, but we will definitely look to start building this team within the draft. If we can take a look at our draft pick situation: first, no second, two thirds, two fourths, fifth, sixth, seventh. Not terrible, not amazing. As for guys, we're probably going to look to offload. Um, I think Van Riemsdyk, we can get him at half retained. He's having a good year. A team's going to want him. He will probably be on his way out. Cam Atkinson with 3 years. I can't see a team wanting him, and I don't want to retain that kind of money for 3 years. Although I would like to give Owen Tippett more of a chance. Have him factor into the top six. Scott Lawton is definitely one of those guys that I feel like a playoff team would like. And he doesn't really factor in with his coach very well. But that being said, he does have 3 million on his books for 4 more years. Otherwise, maybe Deloria, although he did sign. Yeah, that's a 4 year deal. Never mind. And then defensively, we could definitely look to trade either. Maybe not. Maybe Provorov would be the way to go. I know that some of them. It was either Provorov or Sanheim. I guess it was Provorov has been rumored to kind of be on his way out more recently. And we would like to factor York into our top six or our top four. Otherwise, obviously, we're not going to get rid of Carter Hart. And Fedotov has been 2 shutouts. Not bad. 7 wins, 16 games. We're going to keep on or hold on to him too. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope to get more of these out as soon as possible. I'm going to do some pre-scouting on my own about potential trades, and then we will hop into the trade deadline. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you again soon.